Hi, everybody. Michelle D'Amber here with Josephine Zanetti again. We're going to do a podcast today about taking your supplements for people who are sensitive and how to, kind of incorporate the supplements into your program, whatever you are doing. And we have a special guest. She is a client of mine, Angela, and she's going to share her experience because she's been really sensitive. So she has to introduce the supplements really slow. Good morning, everyone.
Hi. Nice to see you again.
You do.
Lovely to see everyone, and thanks for having me.
So
I'm bursting with joy.
I know.
We're happy to see you too, Angela. It's nice to
Yeah.
have you here.
Oh, well, I'm so pleased. So fun. Thank you.
I've known Angela now, it'll be a little over 3 years. She came to me a few years ago and we've been working together. We've become friends. That's what happens when you do this, working closely with people, they become your friends, just like Josephine has. So, if you want to kind of explain, when you started, you were really super sensitive. In fact, you taught me, to help my other clients on ways to introduce the supplement. Like me, I could just down a whole bunch of supplements and it doesn't bother me at all.
Mm-hmm.
But for some people, they have to go really slow. So if you can share a little bit of how you started doing that and some techniques, that'd be great.
Sure. Yeah. I was born with Lyme disease and I was really, really, really super sick most of my life. I spent 24 years bedridden with all kinds of things. And then the Wi-Fi and stuff came and the cell towers, and it took me down even harder to the point of pretty much death. And one day I just got this pull that said, go to the website, and I somehow found Michelle. I didn't remember that I found her because she called me. I applied. I did a little registered for a consultation at that time. And then we started, and it was a really hard time for me and for her to have to deal with them as much as I was needing assistance with. But as a Limey, I'll use that term, I was always very sensitive. And through that time, I also became an acupuncturist and worked with people for many, many years. And I used to work with people that went to a Lyme doctor, and I had a lot of other things under my belt of learning. One of the things that I learned in homeopathy was to titrate gently, tiny, tiny bits, because even homeopathy was too much for me. I don't do it anymore because it's just not for me, whatever, but it did teach me some principles. And the principles that I learned and I used with my clients back then when I was an practicing acupuncturist was to use little tiny bits of things first. And I learned that the top left, this is a very simple concept. Anything from the waist above on the left side, this is my left, that might be yours because I'm mirrored right now. But anything from the above, from the waist above on the left is going to be 30% more absorptive if you place it on you. Like say if this was a supplement, this is like a little thing, I don't know if you can see it. I put it, you can tape it, but the first thing I do is I would have people hold it in their left hand and at their chest like this, 5 seconds, put it down. The next day, maybe 5 seconds, put it down. And you slowly work up. What happens is that people started experimenting with themselves, if they stick with it, to not get frustrated, right? Because you can be like, if I take this, I get so sick because I have a Herxheimer and I have all these sensitivities and I'm allergic to this and allergic to that. Well, you might actually just be having a Lyme reaction or whatever back then. But now, even with supplements, it's the same thing. Some people are just really, really sensitive to supplements or medication. And so with supplements, you do the same thing. You hold it up here first. And I say to hold it first because if you put it in your bra, say, for instance, if you're a gal, you forget. And then if it's in there 8 hours and you first putting kelp in, you might be really angry and not know why. I know it happened to me. I forgot. So the first thing is to go up, then 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And after a while, you get confident because you're kind of introducing your body to it, right? It's like, hello, body, look at this. And I do that all the time. Do you see this? It's Paramin. We're going to take this Paramin. Look at this. Oh, and the body's like, thank you. I know that sounds very like kindergarten-y or nursery, but when someone's sensitive, they need that gentle lambskin touch, like a kid glove touch, right? It's this beautiful thing. And after a little while, after like a week, maybe I get the tape. I used to have people get the tape that is doesn't bother your skin.
Mhm.
Right.
So first, if you are a person who takes a shower every day, which you might be, tape it on the inside of your bra so that the tape doesn't get your skin, but then you can also take it off without wetting it, right? You can use one pill for a long time.
Right.
So play with it. Like if you're doing some of the stronger stuff, it's your experiment. I cannot advise anyone what to do. That's not what I'm here for. I'm just sharing something that you could go, oh, I'm going to experiment. So take it a little bit and slow, like it has taken me 3 years to get to the point where I can even take all of it. I'm still not on everything.
Mhm.
Right.
And I'm okay because
Right.
I eat really good and I
Right.
get so sick and I have really trudged through this.
Yes.
So how do you get, like, if let's say you take a supplement or you take more than what your body's able to handle, how do you get, like, do you get more tired? What kind of reaction do you usually get from it if you take too much?
For me, I'm a little unusual. I get a serious vibrating in the body and I feel like I'm being burned alive.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
I also could get extremely anxiety, shaking, which is different than vibrating. I might have, like with GB3, it took me almost like a year and a half to be able to take it. I love GB3 now for me. But to take it, I think it was dumping my liver or something like that. So I was on the toilet a lot and I was having a lot of gas and pains in my belly. And that can be very uncomfortable, a lot of bloating and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But also a lot of brain stuff, like electrical feelings in my head. My vision would go really blurry. I'd have more floaters, very low energy, maybe having to lie down. But when I lie down, it's even worse. And then I can't sleep at all. So I'm getting through all that. But to take your supplements, do one thing at a time.
Exactly.
If you're sensitive,
Right.
just get that down. Like most people probably are not as sensitive to Paramin. That's probably not a thing for most people. It could be.
And Paramin is calcium and magnesium together. And then GB3 is for digestion. So in this case, when she was talking about the gas and stuff, it can upset parasites and things like that. So I just wanted to kind of share what the supplements were.
Sorry about throwing that in. But for me, the GB3 was really, really hard. I had to tape it. Well, I don't do tape anymore. I just stick it in my bra because I've been doing it for so long. And I'm pretty good about, I just throw it in there. But it's best to put like right here is your bra strap, right? And if you're a guy where you would have a tank, like a muscle shirt thingy, and it's right on the indent of this shoulder, and you just stick a tape here or on the inside of the shirt. And it's that tape that's breathable.
Yeah.
On the shirt, that way you take a break from it too at night, but eventually you'll be able to just take it. It took me a year and a half. And then, by the way, so once you tape it for a while, then you can wear it all the time. Then you can start a nibble or cut a little piece off, like shave a little piece off, and then keep wearing that and just take a tiny bit. And then as you get to about a half, take this one off. And you'll find your way through because you'll get a confidence. You'll say, I can do this.
Right.
I'm able. And that's a huge hurdle to overcome just because you're so scared that you don't have control. This gives you control. tiny bits at a time. And then little bit, pretty soon you're taking a whole one. If you need to back off, you know how to. You can use this in both directions. Say you're getting a little bit more of a reaction, you just kind of drop down.
That's right.
All the way, depending on what Michelle will guide you. And just whoever.
Yeah, but you've been on the program. Now you've been on the program for how long with the nutritional balancing? 3 years already. Yeah.
3 years, a little over 3 years.
Over three.
Okay.
And,
Yeah,
and you've come a long way, because
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
you were emailing probably about 5 times a day for a month.
More than that, I'd say for.
And they were really, really long emails, and you know.
Yeah, I didn't have anyone kind of in my corner at the time. I didn't know what was going on. I mean, I knew I was going to die, and it just, nothing felt right, except I got to say this. Once I found this, and I, like, something clicked inside of me, and it was like a profound experience of feeling that the entire universe was holding me. It felt like all it was my commitment to it too. It was like, and I'm a very determined person. I'm very clear about when I make a commitment, I'm all in. I'm just like a dog with a bone. And so it clicked, and I'm like, I can do this. And I started with 7 vegetables. The second week I was at 12 vegetables, and now I'm 13 to 15 with every meal. So I've never veered from that ever in my life, unless one time maybe we ran out of food or something, and then we had to kind of make it. I think that happened one day once, but that was it for one meal. But
you are our A student, that's for sure. I'll tell you that. You are amazing in that way, because many of our clients, it's the opposite. Okay, it's easier for them to pop the pills than do the diet, because the diet is difficult in the sense that it's not just about the eating it. If we would be like Queen Elizabeth, and we would have a butler and chef to cook for us, we'd be happy. But we got to cook it. We got to wash the vegetables. We got to peel. That's right. So the fact that you've done that, I think that's a really, really a big credit to you and to your husband, because it's not easy. I mean, the popping of the supplements is not even as important as it is with the diet. And I think that's why you're doing so much better as well. So much better, not to say that the supplements are not needed, because God knows we don't get all our minerals from these. That's why we got to eat so many vegetables, right? And different kinds that you're doing. It's like unbelievable. How do you cook your vegetables? Pressure cooking?
I do the pressure cooking. I started with an Instapot, but something happened. Our Instapot was just not right. I know a lot of people love their Instapot, and that's great, but I went ahead and got the Presto 4-quart.
Okay.
And it really, once you get over doing it a few times, it's not scary at all. It feels scary because like, oh my God, it's good. It's perfectly easy. And I also have a new way of cooking that I use on occasion, but the Presto 4-quart, the one that's, that we are used to, most comfortable with.
The stovetop, right? It's a stovetop.
Yeah, I have
That's
2
right.
of them because one got burned. I burned some stuff one day, and then I'm going to have a second one, and then I burned that one too. But it all gets cleaned up. But you do have to take good care. Don't use any scratchy pads. Use scratch less pads, and Bon Ami or something that's really good. But I love it, and weirdly, it's supposed to take longer to pressure cook up here, but not my pressure cooker. As soon as it starts rocking, we have to immediately I go to the front door, let the air out, and then immediately unhook it. Otherwise, they're overcooked.
Okay.
So, I do cook, braise in a pan with just a little bit of water. And that's my main way of cooking. The only other thing is I have this 360 degrees cookware that I got. It is expensive. But I wanted a really good stainless steel pan. It's surgical steel. It's the only real surgical steel cookware there is. I love it. They give you a discount.
Is that like Salad Master?
No, it's
No?
360 degrees cookware. It's 360-degree cookware.
Okay.
That's the name of it.
Okay.
And you can go on their site.
It's a vapor steaming, right?
Yeah, they use a vapor cooking. You can cook anything in it. It becomes like a little stove, a little mini,
Oh, yes. Okay.
and then you spin the top, and that takes a little bit of getting used to, but the food is very similar tasting, and it maintains the minerals. But you do have to learn how to use it. It's a little more complicated. So for most people, that's not going to be it. But I wanted a pan that I could do everything in, including braising, poached eggs, whatever else I needed to do. But you can make anything in it. So like
Oh,
if
wow.
someone wasn't on this particular eating way of eating, you could do anything, cakes, cookie, whatever, pancakes.
Right.
But that, for me, the commitment is very steady. Like I have had so many cravings lately, and I know there have been times I had no cravings, but lately it has been so many cravings. So I must be dumping or something. But I just stick to this. I do not veer. I have never, ever eaten anything that wasn't on this thing. Never.
Wow. Hey, that is absolutely wonderful. Yeah. I think eventually, as you're going to get on with it, like it's been only 3 years. So that was pretty much myself as well. I've never veered to first because I was in a 4 low and I didn't want to take a chance to. And when my pattern started, that's right, so I can relate. So I was really, really steadfast with the diet. I am pretty good as well, like you, but there are days where I'll have a treat, but never sweets. I don't have sweets.
I don't even.
I'm staying away from it. Me too. And fruits. I mean, maybe berries now and then. Me too, once in a while, and that's only recently. And because I want to continue keeping my bowels functioning on its own without having. I don't want to go back because that's the thing. It's like even if we do it 80% of the time, that's really great. Okay, in your case, that you're not taking the supplements and you're doing it 100% almost, you are doing it 100% when it comes down to the diet. Yeah. I mean, that's good because the supplements are too sensitive for you to take. So you almost need those minerals.
I can take most of them. I just still can't take some of them. I just cannot.
Right. Yeah. Which ones can you not take? And still.
I started putting the TMG in my bra and then with the kelp. So, but because I've done this so many times, I kind of know, like, let me start with TMG for a few days. Then I switch it out to the kelp. Then I put them together and I was able to wear it 3 days, 8 hours because I forgot, but I was okay with it and I felt okay. But then some stuff started happening and I don't know if it was that or not. So one day I took a tiny bit of TMG because it kind of cracked open a little bit, the teensiest bit, and I didn't feel well. Whether that was it or not, I'm not really sure. I'm just not sure sometimes now. But so I backed off. So it's those two, and then thyro complex, no way, but I do occasionally put it here. Kelp is very difficult for me. I've been able to take it sometimes, and then sometimes it makes to whatever. It tends to hype me up.
Stimulate. It stimulates you.
And so although I've gotten better with that, a lot better. And I think that's it. Oh, and Megapan I don't usually take either. So
stimulating too. I can't take anything stimulating after about 2.
That's really good. Oh, and zinc, I take it. I'm on the brink of like this 4 low thing, I guess. Like I keep moving in and out of it. Lately, I've been really in it a lot. And it started when I started taking more Paramin. I think maybe the manganese probably dropped me back in a little. So I slowed down on as much Paramin. I was taking 223. I'm like taking, 2, 1.5, 1. It's, and I play around with it, but the zinc, I really have an affinity to want to take it. But I do a little limcomin and a tiny bit of zinc or no zinc and limcomin. That there are days that it's better to take the zinc and then days that I'm not taking it.
And for those who understand this, that's okay, because with her pattern, she tends to go sway in and out of a ideal NAK, sodium to potassium ratio. So she's learned, we've had conversations on what she feels and how to adjust, because when you're swaying like that, it's really important that you're not, that you're talking to your practitioner and understanding the symptoms so that you can navigate through that, because you don't want to keep taking zinc if your sodium, goes lower than your potassium.
Yeah.
Right.
And it is, this is something, I guess I should have said that, like one thing that's amazing about Michelle, in my experience, because she's been my coach the entire time, is that you're always there. And that's what I keep hearing people say, you're really there immediately. Like if I text, well, even within, I shouldn't say immediately, because you should be able to have time to get back to someone. But in my experience, it is a very short period of time before you get back to me or Tom, my husband. And it's always insightful. It's always caring. It's always honest. It's earnest. Like I have a very strong trust with both of you gals, but I've known Michelle a lot longer. I've just recently met the lovely Josephine. I am so grateful. It has changed my life. And I felt like I've always felt like I had someone in my corner, which is what happened when I had that first commitment rush of the universe. It was like the universe had my back, including Michelle.
That's right. And I mean, that you couldn't ask for better than that, because that's very important when you're coming in a program and you're as depleted as you were, and didn't know you had tried everything. There's nothing you haven't tried. And you're coming, and here you had to let go of certain things, certain supplements, certain foods. And I mean, we're not young. We're not that young. We're not like in our 20s or 30s. No. And so putting our trust and faith on certain things, but you knew when you read about it, like you said, right? You knew when you read it, it clicked. It clicked on right away.
Yeah. And I didn't even know what I was reading at the time. I was so sick. I could barely even know what I was reading. When she called me, I'm like, who are you? I don't remember making this appointment. I remember, I'm like, okay, because I must have done it, right? But I was on my deathbed. I think had I continued, I may have had a month left.
And that's what you had said to me. I remember the phone call, because, one thing that I do is I don't go actively looking for clients, because I don't want to look, I think this is something that people need to come to me. I can't tell people that they need me. It's they need to come. So I have periods where I'm like, universe, I'm ready if people are ready to come to me. And sure enough, I think you set up the appointment just in the morning that I was like, okay, I'm ready for new clients.
I didn't even remember anything. I had to go back and I said, what thing are you on? I mean, I couldn't even be on computers or anything. And I had to learn how to wire all my stuff, blah, blah, blah. But then I was like, I thought, well, this must be something from the universe or God or whatever it is, because I felt like it was like, it happened for me and I didn't even know I did it, but I had to have done it. Right.
Right. So now how do you feel with the EMF? I mean, because you do say at the beginning, you said you were also sensitive to the EMF Wi-Fi. Are you a little better now than you were, let's say, 3 years ago?
I think I am. What happened was that I actually had to sell my home and move, because we had 3 cell towers just within a few blocks of us, around us. And I didn't know that was happening, because I was in bed for 5 years, so sick, vibrating. I didn't even know. I didn't go outside or anything. So I didn't even know there were cell towers until I opened my curtains. I was like, what is that? So now, though, I have to say I moved to a place with radiation meters and a tri-field meter. I moved to a little bungalow, which was very hard to do, to having a nice big home to having a tiny little place. It was extremely, I mourned for 2 years. It was really hard.
Yeah.
And the dread of where I live was another hard thing too. But all of this has been an opportunity for me to really go inside and clean up these things. Plus I think it helped in the stuff leaving and moving. But now that I do go out, I rarely go out. I'm honest. I just don't go out very often. And we have everything wired here, hardwired. So there's no Wi-Fi intentionally. When I go out, I do have a sheet that I use. I know that sounds weird, but I have a sheet. It's made out of metal. It looks like cotton muslin.
Yeah.
And I wrap it around me. I have 2 of them now. It was expensive. I lived under that canopy, like made of the same material, for 9 months in the house before we sold it, before I knew it was happening to sell. And I was too sick to move. So I had to wait to have some strength. I noticed that if I used to even get close to, like within miles, like a mile of a cell tower, like if we were driving me somewhere or whatever, I would get such pain in my head and severe headaches and nausea. And I know I had radiation poisoning. I mean, I was like vomiting the whole thing, but now I'm like, not so bad. And if I'm in the area, yes, I have the sheet wrapped around me or whatever, and it looks weird, but it's still easier than it used to be. It's still easier. I'm still a little bit afraid. I'm gonna be honest. In fact, I haven't had my eyes looked at in over 5 years. I'm going to get my eye exam, and this one particular doctor is the only ophthalmologist that I can go to, or ophthalmologist, I guess, that I can go to get glasses that I can see out of. No one else can get me. I don't know what it is. And he is in a building next to a cell tower, like 10 car lengths away from a cell tower. And when you walk into his office, it's 5G. And so I made an appointment and I'm going to go do it. We'll see what happens.
Oh, wow. That's going to be, stay tuned.
Yeah. So I used to have a lot of seizures, lots and lots of seizures, seizures,
Really? Yeah.
all day long, 9-hour seizures.
Oh my goodness. I have a client. It only comes to him once a month, but he does have a lot of seizures. He's just started the program and he is still getting some seizures in the meantime. He's a 4-low, him as well. And hopefully he's going to stick it out, because I think this program definitely helps people with seizures. No more
seizures.
Yeah, that
no
is something.
I don't think people realize we're like electrical, we have electrical currents within ourselves, and then have all this radiation around us. And if you're depleted, and usually people that in my experience that are in what's called a 4-low pattern are much more sensitive. Now, I know when my adrenal ratio is really low, after about 5 hours on the computer, I can feel like I have to get away from the computer, because it's like a vacuum. It just sucks the life out of me.
If you're hardwired though, you don't have that. Especially like I'm wired up, like everything's wired with me. Mm-hmm. I'm wired up and I'm over here with my wired keyboard, and it just doesn't happen anymore. I don't have that feeling. Oh. Wi-Fi can do it though. Any kind of Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I'm like you. I'm wired. Me too. Everywhere, because I'm so sensitive, and I don't think I'm wired enough. But the worst is this, this is the worst.
Yeah, I don't use mine. Mine's
that's good.
There. It's like 15 feet away, and I don't have any data package on, because I've learned once I got my radiation meter and my tri-field meter, I tested everything, when texts come in, when they don't. And I know people love their devices, and I don't want to freak anyone out, but there's no way that thing's in my hand.
Would you like to provide your information? People have questions about that, or you can give me the information.
Sure.
Put it on.
Yeah, just give them my email at Proton.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Because even anything to do with the EMF, because people are in need, And it's getting worse and worse, by the way, because even though you go live in a rural area, it doesn't really matter. It's right
Does
there
not
in
matter.
front of you almost, and you don't know. It could be on the mountain, and you don't even if it's a little far from you, you think it's not emitting anything, but it is.
And
I've
they
had
make
this.
them look like trees, these cell phone towers. They
That's right.
decorate them, so you
No,
can't tell.
Exactly.
Now, where I live out here, I live in an area that is like it's New Mexico, and there's mountains and all this open space, and you'd think, wow, green, beautiful. Well, that is not the case. It doesn't matter where. It's hard to find any place that is green on my little meter reader. And again, I do other methods though inside of myself to clean this, like I told you guys earlier before we started this, and that I think is going to do a huge thing if we could just get enough people doing it.
Yes. And the thing is with the EMF as well, we can't escape it. That's why being on a program is so important.
Yes.
Because we got to cleanse. We got to cleanse, that we like it or not. We got to purify. And because we're bombarded, if it's not with the EMF, it's the chemtrails, it's what they're pouring on us. I mean, even if we buy organic, it's not 100% organic, for the simple reason that the soil is not 100% anymore. They actually, whoever is in control, they're, doing what they want with the food. They're doing what they want with the soil. We're not back. I mean, when we grew up, we could have a real tomato. We knew what a real tomato tasted like.
Yes.
Today, a real tomato, when you open it, it's like, if it's organic, it's not bad, but it's not even as good as it was, let's say 40 years ago, 50 years ago. It was like unbelievable. So, I mean, we live in a time that we like it or not, we have to be disciplined, and we really got to look after ourselves in the sense of self-control on a lot of things. And even if you don't self-control, I mean, like you, for instance, even if you wanted to eat junk food, you couldn't, because you would just get worse in your
Not
case.
anymore.
That's right. So I think we're pretty much on the same page when it comes down to that. Most people who are watching us also realize that. Because I mean, now in the last 2 years, what we've all been through, we've gone through a lot, and for the good or for the bad, it doesn't really matter at this point, but a lot of people are waking up, which is all fine. And the fact that the little supplements that you're taking, but you're 100% on that diet, which is all mostly vegetables and meat and fish, some fish like sardines, and some grains, I think is a big testament, because you've only been on this program for 3 years, and that's not a long time on this program, 3 years. So, I mean, there are a lot of good changes on your chart. And so, I mean, that's amazing, really amazing. And it's even amazing with your husband as well, quite frankly. But time will tell. It's like everything else, right, Angela?
Yeah, I feel so blessed. And it's been, again, that commitment clicked in for me. And I really felt like I had help in myself somehow. There was like help within myself. And it just helped me get really clear and clarified. I know that not everyone has that experience, but I want to say it, because when we really commit to something, that creates a bigger than even an intention. It creates like a ripple effect in your life, and things will come to help you to get it done. Like, it's like aligning. It's like the whole, for one little step in one direction, God will come to you, or one little step, depending on how you think, the whole universe will conspire with you as soon as you get clear on something, however you want to say that.
And that ripple effect, you've brought in your husband, you've brought in friends,
I have,
that are now. And so it's great, because then you have this community of people that you can talk to, that understand, and that you're healing all together. So everybody's a good influence with each other, which I think is amazing, It's nice to get with your friends and talk about vegetables and water and taking supplements and making good choices in your life instead of saying, I'm so stressed, let's go hit happy hour and eat some fast food. You know, that used to be how I handled things. And now I'm like, no, that did not lead me down a good road. So you have been a great example that people trust you, and now they're joining you too. So
they are. And I don't have a huge amount of friends. I never have been a person that has lots and lots of friends, but I have really good friends for long periods of time because I'm kind of a connector and I connect with people, right? So I try to show them what I'm doing. Like, I'm like, how do you cut your vegetables, right? So I used to cut each time. And now we do 4 meals. And I use these BPA-free not garbage bags, but grocery bags that I get from Sprouts. And we save them. They're not there anymore. So we have a bunch of them and we intermittently use them. So we cut enough. We have everything cut. So we have a garbage bag, the grocery bag this full. It goes right into the refrigerator and it's ready to go, because you do have to. I know that it was like, I thought I had to do it each and every time. So I was really committed to that. But there were days I could barely even stand. So I was cutting, like hanging over, because no one was helping me at that time. It was like a different time of my life. And I didn't really have assistance then. But now, as my husband and I were in it together, like I clean the leaks. We usually do about 6 to 8 leaks, depending upon 5 to 8 leaks, depending upon how big they are, for our 4 meals. That gives us that gives us a little break to have to clean vegetables every other day, so to speak, right? So we have like a system down, and it's like, that's like 8 carrots, and we have it all mapped out. 20 Brussels sprouts, 20 to 24, 14 beans, whatever it is.
Wow, that is amazing.
3 onions. I should do a little video and show you.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, we'd love to see that. I mean, when you're cooking, just put the either your computer, the laptop there, and Zoom it. Put it on Zoom, and then I could
probably do that.
Yeah.
And and so we have it all. We have everything mapped out. The way we even buy our vegetables, and then we spray everything with food grade hydrogen peroxide 3%. Then we wash that all off. Then we dry everything. Then we have everything really, really organized. And my husband just bought us 4 months of meat, because we go to a butcher. It's about an hour drive. And then he vacuum seals it. He puts it in, he makes meatballs, 2 to each pack. And then he has it like one pack has X amount of things in it. He has a little date on it. And so we know lamb, ground beef, chicken.
Oh, that's perfect.
That is the rock star clients.
Oh yeah, no, seriously, that definitely, and because that's the only way to go. If anything happens, anyways, you're all settled in that way, because you got. So do you have a lot of stuff, like a lot of food in the freezer? You have your meat in the freezer?
We have the meat in the freezer, and I know that freezer is not the best, but we don't really, there's no other way for us to do it. You have to at some point just make a decision on what works.
That's right.
So we have, because of where we live, we have a small to medium sized refrigerator in this casita. When the thing happened 2 years ago that freaked everyone out, I was afraid we weren't going to have enough food, because it's small. We can't it's not a regular refrigerator. We can't get everything in there. So I bought another medium one, because we don't have much room here. And that works for now. Plus there weren't any refrigerators, so I had to get what I could get. So we have 2 freezers that are mediums, but then my husband does weekly shopping, and he likes to do the shopping. I don't go to the store because of Wi-Fi. I don't want to go. I'm not ready. I'm working on it deeply, doing my inner work to reduce the fears and all that other stuff that I do, blah, blah, blah. It's another talk. But he has exactly how many of this he needs, how much that he needs, how much this. And we do rotate things sometimes, like lately the purple cauliflower has been very moldy. They say it's not mold, it's mold.
Mhm.
I agree. It's been moldy here too, so I don't know if they're doing that in purposely, but it's like the vegetables they're putting on the shelf. A lot of them now recently has been
They
molded.
look really bad. And I think it's because of they're on the trucks for too long. So by the time they get to us, they're not in
And the
very good.
plastic, especially on the purple cauliflower. And so we've been having to, I don't like white cauliflower that much. And I know it's not the best one, but it's better than nothing. And we do use the leaves and the stems. I use everything.
Good.
You know, like my husband likes to cut off the roots to stuff. They're actually good to eat.
That's good. I cannot even get at this point, I cannot even get the orange or purple cauliflower. Now summer's coming maybe, but things are so up and up. I mean, so I'm only having the white cauliflower. So, I mean, and sometimes, and like I said, it's moldy, so I got to clean it out, you know, I got to clean it out, make sure there's no mold on it. And so, but, you know, we're all doing our best when it comes down to the food. If there's less and less, we don't know what's going to happen. But I mean, you know, you cannot always get like broccolini, for example. It's not always easy to get, depending where you live and which state you're in or little community. So, I mean, you do what you can with what you got. Onions, that's easier. Like you said, leeks and white onions, green onions, or whatever, those are easier to get. But when it comes down to the other kind of vegetables, even the rutabaga, sometimes it's difficult to get, right?
Yeah.
Depending on the season. So, I mean, but now it looks like the time is running out. We're almost done. And it was a pleasure, Angela, to see you again. It was such a nice time we had. I mean, really, last time I saw you was last week, and here we are again. I'm really happy. That was really good seeing you, and you gave the audience a lot of good information about the supplements, especially.
I hope.
Yes, I think so. And the people who get discouraged with the supplements, they think they got to take everything when they're starting. And I mean, although we're telling them often, most of the time, I know Michelle is telling their clients, as I am, to go slow with the supplements. Some people prefer the supplements, popping those, because it's easier than eating doing the diet.
And it is, you know, and I feel like, and I explain to people, you adjust things according to what you're good at, you know, and if you're really good at the diet, then you could probably take your supplements once or twice a day. If you're not good with the diet, you probably want to be on top of your supplements. And I do have a client like that, and she's not great with the diet, but she is really good with the supplements, and she has great changes, you know, and improvements. So, you know, I think everybody's different. You just have to make adjustments. Everybody's lifestyle is different, what they can tolerate, and they're just, you know, their lifestyle, you know, it's not everybody can chop vegetables and clean them and prep them. And, you know, they got kids, they got work, they got all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, and you don't always have, I'm guessing not everyone has support with someone else, because I know people that are doing this that are single and they have work and they try to have to do it. And I'm like, I don't know, does anybody ever use those, you know, food processors? That might make it easier, but then you still have to clean all that, you know?
It all comes down to that, you know, at the end of the day. I mean, like it's, eating it is one thing because it's fast, but it's the preparation, right? I mean, when you go in, I worked in a restaurant, so the sous chef, it's like you got the guy that does the prep work, which is all the cutting, then you got the sous chef, and then you got the chef. So the chef finishes off the whole meal. He's got the easy job.
That's the fun part, right?
That's the fun part. But doing the prep work, that's the difficult part.
Yeah.
You know, but before you go up to becoming a chef, you got to do the prep work. So that's pretty much us. and we got to do the prep when there's no cutting it. You can't cut the hours doing it. And like,
And there's the other challenges too with being single or being alone with the diet. I noticed this recently is that it's harder for me to rotate my foods because, you know, I buy stuff and I'm like, well, do I freeze half of it? But then it's only just a couple servings. Is it worth it? So what I do is I rotate on a week to week basis. So this week I might have more red meat because I just bought enough and I have more than, you know, the typical servings. But then next week I won't have the beef. So I kind of rotate it like that because I end up eating the same meal for probably 2 days. You know, sorry, that's just the way it is. I don't know what to do with my food. But then again, like next week, I'll rotate the vegetables and I'll rotate the meats so that I'm not, you know, eating the same thing.
That's right. Lifestyle, always, if you're by yourself, some people like to do everything fresh. But like we said, if you're working outside the home, it's not always possible. I like the idea of the way Angela and her husband are doing it. You know, they got the bags, they cut. You can do that over the weekend. I know some people say to eat fresh every day, but eating fresh every day, it's not always possible because so cutting it ahead of time, like Angela and her husband are doing, that's perfect. Having the meatballs frozen, that's perfectly fine. I think it's perfectly fine. Because quite honestly, it's also lifestyle that's going to change our patterns as well and our attitude. You know, we got to have an attitude switch. And that's not just those on this program, but it's everybody. So it's not always the easiest thing. This helps because we get to discipline ourselves, and it's okay to discipline ourselves. But Angela's doing a fantastic job. Absolutely.
Well, to me,
The next student.
it was going to save I knew that if I did this, it would be the one way I might save my life. And we are wired to live, most of us, you know, sometimes we'll do other things, but we're wired to try to maintain. And one thing a lot of people don't know about, and I'm just going to share this, I hope it's okay. We're really, the longer you're in your body on this plane, in this life, it's actually better for you. You have more choice of, when you have a chance to clean yourself more like this or purify. I don't, that's not meant in any derogatory way. That's just, if you have a chance, in whatever way, whether it's prayer or whatever you do, you know, connect with whatever, eat properly, you actually are assisting yourself in other ways than we realize. It gives us more time to be. And I don't know, I'm so grateful for this. And I know that I am still in, you know, stuff, but I'm also much more able to handle where I am. You know?
Yeah, that's a huge.
I mean, I used to just be like, you know, I had a lot of fear of, I didn't want to live. I had a lot of survival freakouts. Wanting to survive it was like a panic. How am I gonna? And now it's like, all the work I've done inside and with this food, to me, it's like a parenthesis. It's like I'm held in this beautiful container of the food is purifying and the work is purifying. And so I'm held in a way that I do have, the universe is here. I have people that are here for me. I'm here for others, right? We're here to help each other in whatever weird ways we do this.
You're much more grounded. I mean, when I think about, you know, a few years ago and just the, you know, the challenges and the struggles, and I know that you have more challenges than the average person, but to see how grounded you are. I mean, you're helping me. You helped me design a beautiful logo for my website. I mean, you know, and that's what happens is once we get healthier and we can work through our stuff and we become more grounded, then we can be more generous and giving to others. But when we're depleted, it takes a lot of energy to be kind and loving and giving. So, you know, in the beginning, we kind of almost have to be selfish because we don't have enough energy to be giving it to other people. And so you kind of retreat and you got to do a lot of self-care. And then once you start to kind of come out of the cocoon like a butterfly, then you're able to spread and interact and give and be more kind and loving to others.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So
That's a good way to finish this whole our video. It's
Thank
sad
you.
to
Louise.
see you goodbye for now, but I know we're going to be doing this again very shortly.
Yes, next
Maybe next week.
give us a give us a like and subscribe and give us any comments. Some of the future topics are going to be about toxic metals and digestion. I think digestion is huge. I mean, random people come to me, Michelle, I need help with, going to the bathroom. I think that's like one of the number one challenges that people have. So we'll be talking about that. And anything else that you want to hear about, just give us a comment. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.